had a blast seeing the whole city on a bike. It was really great. But I rode on the Appian Way, which is that old, like they say all roads go to Rome.
Yep.
And the Appian Way is like the oldest road going into Rome. It's cobblestones and then it's cobble rocks. So it was really hard to ride on. They had a little dirt path next to it. But I rode like 10K down back and ruins on both sides. It was, and there was no one there because, both was crowded.
Yeah,
I went to the Vatican one day and it was so crowded, it wasn't almost fun. Then the next day was the complete opposite. I was in the middle of the countryside by myself. It was just marvelous. So that's my bike story.
terrific.
Nice.
Good.
Wow.
Aubrey, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you.
We're doing introductions and interesting bike news, adventures, or observations.
Well, during Black History Month, we were honored to have the, all those soldiers and the White Brigade, and it was kind of fun, and that's all I've been doing. Wait, I'm getting my knee, I'm getting my oil change, and my knee, tomorrow I drain the oil, I get
Oh.
new filters. Aberration,
Cool.
aspiration.
Carino?
I don't think I have any sort of trips or anything, just more sort of involved with all the planning and the transportation agendas that are coming to the city, and it's very complicated as far as the sort of the new zoning code and as part of the measure HLA,
Mhm.
which gonna change, I think change the city a lot. So I'm more involved with Van Nuys just because we're dealing with a lot of issues that, we already have a BRT on Sepulveda and, with the G line, which I'll probably report on that, and the Sepulveda Transit Corridor and the construction of the San Fernando Valley Transit, it's already in construction, so a lot of things are happening as far as sort of maybe the development of Van Nuys. The only sad part, there's not too many people involved with it, so I'm feeling kind of disappointed that, it's important for the valley just because, I can see the changes, and I think the people attitudes right now is like, they're not into driving anymore.
Mhm.
Just because, I can see how crowded it is and, I don't know if I could ever drive in the city,
All right, good.
just because, you see people, how they're acting, so.
Mike, do you want to do your? Yeah,
Well, I don't really have any bike news because I've been riding my son from Europe. And it's been over the past few years and we bought a couple of these bicycles and they keep getting more complex. So this newest one we've been riding, I had trouble riding it and it's kind of difficult to get worked on. If you take it to a shop, they'll tell you, oh, we'll fix it. And then they always call you and say, oh, we don't know really how this works. So good luck. We'll give you. Well, this dancing has been running. I finally got the courage just to take it apart
Oh, that's big.
on the assumption that
Yes, Lionel. Mares, Council District 6, Brett. The topic was biking adventures. Well, for my biking adventure, this year it's been attending Ciclavia events. So that's really fun. And I got to see, I believe, Karen at Melrose. And it was really fun. I saw Eli, I believe that's the last time I saw Eli at the Melrose event as well. And
You were
And
up
I'm
at
glad-
Lankershim.
pardon?
You were up at Lankershim too.
At the Noho.
Yeah.
I missed that one because I just wanted to.
Sorry.
And then on Sunday, I had I got to meet the local bicyclists from the Walk Bike Burbank. Because of the Chandler Bike Path at 20th Street this year, because Chandler Bike Path touches both the city of LA and city of Burbank, and city of North Hollywood is part of the city of LA, so that's something that they're looking forward to, having a little celebration, simple
That's what I
celebration.
thought, yeah.
And if we could spread the word to all bicyclists and as well as city of LA, that'll be great. Because we're hoping that we'll continue to make more improvements. It's in the plan. I know, and proclamation recognizing the walking on the shoulder for everybody, and it beautifies and it's very welcoming. So I got to meet them at a meeting yesterday. Thank you.
Are you gonna send our meeting?
How are you? Hi, everybody. So good to see you. I didn't mean to crash.
No
your
worries, no worries.
It's your birthday.
It's your birthday?
Yeah.
Hey, come on. So happy for you.
I made it another year. you
Hey,
know?
listen, you're doing great. Great. How's everybody doing?
Beautiful, thank you,
What-
sir.
What me is one been here for 12 years now, so this is
Great.
my home and I'll take great pride in making certain that you guys are safe. So
Thank you,
Yeah.
if there's anything you need, hit me up, Tallman at Hollywood Division, okay?
appreciate it.
You guys, God bless. Take care.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Don't want a cake?
I will,
Oh,
you're taking me out afterward.
Glenn, any check-ins?
No trips to Rome. No, I do, it's not, I see it's not on the agenda, so I can talk about it. I do keep an eye on the backbone network in the valley. And just a couple things I wanted to share. First of all, you've been hearing about the Reseda Boulevard project, $20+ million. But they finally made it to the northern end, which connects with the great streets that existed from 6-7 years ago. So now, which was a protected bike lane of only a mile, right? And existed as a
Standalone.
standalone for 1 mile for 7 years. But now, they finally made it from the project under Reseda, so now to Victory Boulevard. And, filled in that gap, and it was kind of an awkward time because without, they're putting in all the bus islands and the improvements, but without the painting and the bollards, people were doing crazy things unintentionally, not knowing that they can't park.
Mm.
The other backbone street, I just want to comment on. Winnetka Avenue. It's a very wide street and it doesn't have a connection up north, which makes it actually a more sane street to be on compared to a lot of the streets where there's a freeway on and off to both ends. And it has bike lanes all the way down to Ventura Boulevard. Anyway, I just was on it and I noticed, the good news is I noticed bicyclists using it, but for some reason, when I'm there, I hadn't seen as much.
Mm.
But the bad news is they were all wrong way cyclists. Even though there's lanes on both sides.
Janice?
Janice Addleston, CD 3, up in the Southwest Valley. And well, 2 times in a row, I have attended Ciclavia events where I've gotten there after they pulled everything down, because I'm just always running late because I have other things going on in my life, but this time I was at the
Preventers?
Vets one and got great food at Rob's house afterwards and great company, so that was fun. And then, in other news, I'm really looking forward to, I know this is gonna be a long-term thing, but I am looking forward to the prospect of there, being bike lanes on California Highway 27.
Mhm.
From the beach to, the north end, Devonshire, the whole,
Nice,
they're studying it,
yeah,
about
Yeah.
putting it in the whole way.
good.
That'd be really nice.
You're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birthday girl, any other?
Well, my big story is that I'm riding a stationary bike.
Oh, congratulations, right?
I'm the first time. ever. But I'm getting ready to get back on the street. Because I had, and so, I don't over a month, always in my.
Just had a private lesson with a woman, older woman. Called herself a senior who has an e-bike, and so it was really fun to meet with her and get her back on the bike. Her husband's a big cyclist, so it felt like my wife and I, who I'm the cyclist, she is not, and as a partner, it's hard to instruct somebody, so having somebody else come in, and so we had a very successful lesson. So that's been a lot of fun, helping people learn how to ride, and the joy of showing up. I'm also teaching down in Santa Monica Beach, right off of the bicycle campus, and it's just gorgeous. There's a Ukrainian yoga thing going on, and then a sound cloud kind of thing. So very West LA. Thank you all for being here. Oh,
Kevin,
I'm Kevin Bird, West Hollywood Bicycle Coalition. And following your examples, we recently in West Hollywood led what we call the Pride Ride. These were people coming into the West Hollywood Pride Street Fair and parade from afar. So we come all over the Highland subway station. Because a number of streets are closed, actually making your way to the fair requires some knowledge of the terrain, part of which is quite hilly, and the back ways. And so we have for a couple of years hosted a ride, met up with a lot of people in the morning, and then guided them to the far end of the parade route and where all the street fair booths are before it all starts at noon. And Taylor joined us on that. This ride's meant to be a low stress, smooth ride. So I'm sure it was much more enjoyable than the happy and rough mess, right? And so that worked out well. People enjoy it.
It's gonna be featured on Bike Talk on Thursday.
of course it is. Terrific. Thank you. Abraham, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Abraham Tejeda. I'm looking to be a part of the committee and serve as the alternate for CD9. I'm currently a mechanic, bicycle mechanic. That's pretty much it for me. I don't know.
Great. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't catch. Is he
Seeking to be.
seeking?
Yeah. Thank you. Call-in user, did you want to identify yourself? Okay. Why don't we continue going? I'm gonna see if I can. Approval of the minutes, I'm gonna. Yep, go ahead.
You can skip over. That's okay.
Yeah, no one is zoomed in. Oh,
It's for future requests too.
okay, uh-huh,
And it, in the chance that the August meeting is changed,
yes,
and because the state law allows for elder care, I may be on duty, so I just wanted to go ahead and put that in for the minutes this time. Should that be the case for August? I realize that it only works if you've got one other person, so hopefully things will improve between now and then.
approval of minutes, is there a motion to approve the minutes from December 5th? February and April?
We have quorum.
Yes, we do have two. Yes, we have quorum. Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Public comment? Board comment? All those in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand. Great, minutes are approved. Public comment on non-agenda items, any comment, any public comment? Culver City Pride is end of the month, June 29th, and they're looking for ride marshals. So reach out to Jim Shaman from Walk and Rollers. I know he reached out to Taylor. And I did it a year ago. It was really a lovely event. Probably 150 people and through residential streets, and surprising how many people come out and cheer the riders on. Really heartwarming. So Lionel, you had public comment?
Well, I just want to make a board member comment very briefly, if it's okay with everyone. I know I've been struggling to come to a subcommittee, in person. I'm not sure if it's just throw out, maybe in the future, we could have a discussion on maybe changing either the day, or the location to make it more feasible for me to attend, so I will not miss the advocacy committee. Just a thought, but it's not urgent. Just
The advocacy and education or?
that one. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
absolutely. Great. Thanks. Any other public comment?
I don't know if during the agenda anywhere we're going to be talking about who's a member of the subcommittees. If not, I just wanted to indicate that Taylor told me he did not want to be on the planning and bikeways, and with Taylor on it, that makes it 6, and that makes it harder to.
I didn't necessarily say I don't want to be on it. I guess I wasn't aware that I was on it, that's all.
Okay, but another.
So we can confirm committee appointments offline. It had been a standing agenda item, and we'll convene offline about what people's interests are, whether they want to or not, and as well as meeting time. So making it accessible is crucial. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Julian, thanks for joining us. Did you want to say hello?
Oh, Julian.
Hi, everybody. Julian Preladio, CD11 alternate.
Great, thank you.
Oh, you're making us have 11.
Oh, yeah, he can,
Yeah,
yeah, you can vote.
you could vote,
Can
Julian.
you vote?
Yeah.
Only if he's
Uh,
opted in through AB 2.
okay,
Oh,
got it.
no, but we have 4. Oh, yeah.
Even still.
Oh, my God.
That having forum in person allows them to join. That's what I said earlier.
Got
It
it.
allows someone to opt in, AB 2449, but only twice a year and only for childcare, elder care, contagious disease, you know, some other.
Any city, department staff reports, LADOT, Metro, Caltrans, LAPD? In case call-in user is one of those? Okay,
Are you asking if they're from there?
yes, right. We're moving down to, item 5, Bicycle Advisory Committee business items. There's a,
Sorry, sir,
yep.
before we leave that general item. I'll go ahead.
Well, they did visit us today.
Yes.
Yeah, but they didn't know they didn't know who they were visiting.
No.
Here's my comment about LAPD. So the Mayor Bass and the powers that be are doing outreach for the new chief of police.
Okay.
And it seems to me, you know, it's not on the agenda, but we do have a historical, I don't know if we go find some old motions or not, but the bottom line is starting in 2010, I think it was, when there was the big assault on Hollywood Boulevard, and the former police chief actually came to the BAC in this room, you know, and said, we're gonna have a relationship, which is fallen away. So I just mentioned that because maybe there's a way, an opportunity through this outreach effort
Sure.
that's focused on the LAPD.
Let's consider your comments public comment.
No, I'd rather not, because public comments for
Okay.
non-board members.
All right,
So I either
That's fine.
doing it here. or
sure,
I'll do it
yep,
at the
no,
very
no,
end
you got it, no,
under, board.
no, that's fine, no, I mean, you've made your point, right, so.
Yeah, so.
A great
if-
point, yeah.
if we have the ability to just communicate something as part of that process based on things we've done in the past, or just re-engage LAPD with the BAC, you know, just get it in the record, I think that must.
I know, as a community police advisory board member, we got something about, hey, are there things that you want for your next chief of police? And so that's very fitting. Lionel?
Yeah, I just want to add very briefly, the comment made by my colleague, Mr. Bailey. The office of the mayor is conducting a survey. So I think it's due, I'm not sure what the due date may have passed, but there's a survey going on. And I'm not sure if you're aware of it. I could forward you the information. Also, the mayor's office for neighborhood council or anyone involved with neighborhood council, they're having a Zoom meeting on June 11th, Tuesday at 6 via Zoom, where the office of the mayor, Karen Bass, will discuss about what the community, particularly neighborhood councils, or anyone involved with the neighborhood council system or committee meetings, advisory committee.
So can you forward that to?
I think it's-
Committee?
Yes,
That'd be great, terrific.
yeah,
Tuesday, what
June 11th.
time?
6 p.m. via Zoom. I can forward it to Mr. Chair and to forward to everybody, has everyone's contact, so
Great.
make it easier for everyone, that's okay.
Connor, I know our Zoom was a little sketchy. Did you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, I can introduce myself real quick. My name's Connor Webb. I am on the North Westwood Neighborhood Council and chair of the Transportation Committee for the North Westwood Neighborhood Council. Yeah, just here to listen in and get updates on all the projects. I guess my icebreaker would be that I saw that the Northvale Gap is likely to get another, I think it was like $13 million in funding. You know, and then I think tomorrow the Transportation Committee will hear if they're going to apply for another 10 million for the ATP Cycle 7. So that should get us just about to the $39 million that they're estimating for the 0.7 miles of bike path. So that's exciting.
Miles, right?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is on the E line. There's a gap called the Northvale Gap. Yeah. Thank you, Connor.
Pacific area, sorry.
It's a difficult one because they have to dig up behind the people's property and they have
It's-
to do a slope.
Chevy,
Yeah.
there's a,
Yeah, it's not easy. I could see how they could spend a bit of money there. Yeah,
yeah, but
it's
not.
not a line.
30.
It's not a painted on the street, job.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. First order of business, under 5A, motion to move the August general meeting to the second Tuesday of the month. I'd like to make that a standing item, that the August meeting always be on the second Tuesday. The first Tuesday is National Night Out, where LAPD and many other communities are out in the public, and so it'd be a conflict for those who are active in their local community. So I'll make, somebody want to make the motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to change it to the second Tuesday in August.
Okay, is there a second? Public comment? Board comment?
Discussion?
Yeah,
My neighborhood council, which I'm a member of, Sun Valley, has a general board meeting on the second Tuesday of each month. I don't know, I mean, I'll see what happens if I get 10, just a one, just to clarify. just
Once a
for
year,
one day,
once
right?
a
yeah,
year.
just once a
Okay.
year, yeah.
Okay, maybe.
August, yeah.
All right, I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Consult with my chair, that's all. Conference schedule.
Glenn?
So I definitely agree and over the, not agreeing on the date, I'm agreeing about the need to change from first Tuesday. But in the past, which we did because this facility was not available because they were using it for National Night Out. Apparently, since the pandemic, they're not. So that's a different issue than that. So, yeah, there were some times where maybe I wanted to go to my local one and not having it. I personally also have a second Tuesday conflict. So just FYI, I would certainly vote to change it from the first Tuesday because of National Night Out, but I'm not so sure. We'll be able to get a quorum on second Tuesday, a couple of us. Are not.
Mhm. Okay. Other discussion?
Hmm. So
Uh,
the
is-
Meeting will be August
13,
15th.
Is it worth pushing it to the third Tuesday or something like that, or is that?
Or is it a Monday or a Tuesday, or a Monday or a Wednesday better?
Or Friday, is that?
Oh,
I'm open, but I don't know.
we just like to think we have personal lives and that we try not to meet on Friday night.
I have no problem.
The third Tuesday conflicts with my neighborhood council board meeting.
Okay,
I don't mind Monday, but I don't mind the second Tuesday, so I'm just going, I'm sure Michael will be around, but I don't.
I would love to stay in the, just for that one time, but.
For
yeah,
the
it's different,
first Wednesday?
yeah,
No,
would that work for
Just-
anybody else?
Oh, just FYI, Mid City West NC meets on the second Tuesday as well, which Mr. Schneider is a member of,
Mhm.
to my knowledge.
For what it's worth, I'm coming back from Europe on the 13th,
Ha,
because I thought that was something we're having a week. So
oh,
So you can
I
stay
would
longer?
be able to come if we had it. the
We
week
can
before.
stay longer now.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not in Maryland because of this meeting right now, but
oh,
anyways.
No, but I just,
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
if we were to move it earlier than the 13th.
Got it, right.
boy, that's really getting,
All right,
I would ask if we not make this a permanent.
yeah,
I
agree.
mean, I don't mind permanently not meeting on first Tuesday because of National Night, but permanently choosing the second Tuesday. I think that needs some
Sure.
further engagement. Even though we do have a quorum, we have a majority of the folks here.
so do we want to go with second Tuesday this one time? And so maybe the motion is that we permanently reschedule our meeting. And this year it will be the second Tuesday, and we'll see if we can
See what happens.
Or is that?
see what happens.
Still a quorum problem?
If you don't make one, it's not a problem. It's a problem.
All right,
I'd rather not change it.
So
For
you-
more than 1 month. Whenever-
correct, right. We're just doing it for this year,
I just
right?
wanted to make sure.
Yes, right.
What if
Right.
we were to do Wednesday, 14th? You'd be
I
back,
could make it. Did you?
Is Wednesday, the
everybody else
fourteenth, any
make it
better?
on Wednesday, the 14th?
That's when we have our executive committee meeting.
So one would be out.
Right.
Are you in then? You have a meeting every night, though.
I know, but some of them I can get out of and some. I can't. Yeah, second Wednesday.
Second Wednesday, okay. I'm okay with second Wednesday. So, August 14th then, is there?
Well,
We
here's the
have to
thing.
know if we can use this.
Here's the thing, I already made it, arranged it for this time for August 13 with
We-
because they, because she can't, she said we couldn't come here, period.
She said we couldn't come?
Yeah. Because they use this room for their staging.
For national night out.
For National Night.
National Night.
So,
Yeah.
we've confirmed for Tuesday. We'll see if we can move it to Wednesday.
I'm not promising.
No, right, of course, right. No
So
problem. And if not, then we'll figure out
We'll
another
stay with
location.
Tuesday, or we'll cancel. We can cancel a meeting.
It's,
No,
they're the ones that, they initially did reserve this. I think I saw that they had booked, they had confirmed, I was kind of surprised that they had booked the first Tuesday. You
I know.
So it's there, so we're saying, okay, you made a mistake or nicely, but, we discussed it and we're asking that it be second Wednesday.
So if we can move it to Wednesday, we'll do that.
And if not,
Then we'll,
So it's the 13th, unless we can get it on the 14th.
well, it's the 14th unless we can't get it. We can't get this room and we can't get a reasonable alternative to this room. Then we're gonna
I
default.
don't understand. So in other words,
We're moving it to Wednesday
okay,
unless we can't get this room and we can't find an alternative meeting site.
and in which case it'll be on the 13th.
Correct. That will be our third option. So we're moving to here. Our first option is here on Wednesday, the 14th. Second option is Wednesday, the 14th, somewhere else. The third option is we're here on the 13th. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So just provide option 1, 2, and 3.
Well, it's in that preferred order. Yeah. All those in favor of that strategy, raise your hand. Okay, passes. Thank you. Well, that was,
And by the way, when we had to change, because every year we dealt with the second, first Tuesday conflict when they were in this room. 1 year we did use the fire station that's a little bit further to the east, just north of the freeway. It's a second floor room. It's a beautiful room. The only problem is there's like no parking. Of course, that's kind of the situation we're now, but, anyway, they were very accommodating to us.
Yeah. I remember that.
Great.
That's on
Good to know.
Bronson.
I don't know, I don't remember
Yeah, it
the
was on
street.
Bronson.
There's
Right,
two fire
right,
stations.
Bronson.
on
Bridge across the bridge.
It's on Bronze.
Bronson.
anything for, thank you.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
In case this is not
Yep,
available.
great alternative. That's our
It'd be
alternative.
close by, same.
Terrific. Any updates around the possible motion regarding temporary bike lane closures for construction? Have we gotten anything? I know, I don't see,
Curtis isn't here.
Curtis is not here.
Yeah.
But
we do have, I do want to say that we did have LADOT, that gentleman, the new guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he was interested in pursuing the motion.
Good.
So I did tell Curtis, but I haven't heard back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there was one other thing.
Are you talking about the lane?
temporary closure of bike lanes during construction.
Boulevard and Dennis?
None specifically, it's just generically how we are seeing construction closing bike lanes and not having good alternatives. And wanting to have a policy or council file that responded to that.
Let's go with it.
Lionel?
Yeah, I was temporarily for short part I'm looking for a council file. I cannot find any council file. I'll try to look,
I
There-
think there isn't one.
and
There isn't one.
no, that's what.
No.
And but I did find some information that I shared with Jennifer, I think with you too, a while back. That my understanding is, I'm not sure if it's state or state, but that when there's construction, the company or the city, whoever's doing it, they're supposed to accommodate bicyclists. Either create like put signage, either like share roads where they share a road, because I've been through the, I've encountered such situations myself. Either they put like a K rail with that whatever.
Yeah.
Gap in between, enough space for bicycles to go through, or the sidewalk, or share a road, which most, not the best option.
Shove it up.
But yeah, but they're supposed to accommodate, not completely like just block off but they're supposed to, sometimes, most of the time they don't, I think. They don't, but they're supposed to make it. feasible for bicyclists.
We did discover there is a section of LADOT that reviews traffic plans around construction. However, other parts of LADOT, the ones that we interface with, aren't connected to those people.
Right.
So we've discovered some traffic plan requirements, and we're trying to dig into that a little bit. The planning and bikeway engineering committee did a little bit. Maybe we can get into that. Did you want to do a brief summary here of what we're?
Sure. So in addition to, we talked about the motion, with CD4. So that was one of them. And, what, happened on that was that Jack Moreau thought putting this motion was a great idea. And, he would be happy to, review it and give it, feedback. And then on, the other thing was in terms of notification. So in other words, if we wanted LADOT to notify the LADAC when there are bike lanes being closed by temporary construction, in order for them to do that, they would need a policy direction from city council to create a new notification system. So for example, if we want them to, like what they were doing before is they were notifying us of every construction project. And, that obviously was not helpful. And so if we wanted them to notify us just on construction closures that impact bike lanes, they don't currently have the ability to filter out those. And so it would require coordination within LADOT. And so to do that, they would need something from the city council telling them to do that.
Wow, well, that's clear. I didn't get that part, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's rewrite the motion the next meeting or
Well,
during
Well,
subcommittee.
I think this was specifically on notification, and it was on having a system of notification from LADOT to the LADAC. And what they were saying was it's out of scope for them right now. In other words, within their group, they don't have the
There's no way to filter.
capacity to do that.
Right.
But it could be done, but it would require city council to like initiate it and tell them, to develop that system.
Can we tell Mehmet at CD4, he's working on
Well,
it?
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's working on this motion.
Well, I mean, the idea is that, like if our committee or subcommittee gets information, that we pass that on to Rob, which we did. And then, it would be brought up here or, which is on the agenda, so we're talking about it.
so we all know LADOT is stretched thin, right? And so this is going to stretch them even thinner to report these things to us. What we're less about wanting to be notified. We're more interested, really what we're wanting to do is making sure that the alternative bike lane design is appropriate. Not the notifying us, we'd rather not be notified
Right.
if they're doing it right. Right, so I think continuing to push forward on making sure that that they are putting into place appropriate plans is really where our focus should be.
Right, and that is so in other words, having us being notified, that would be a way for us to, you know, see if it's actually being done. And we had a, sort of a test case where there was a construction project at Beverly in Vermont. And there's a middle school right there. And they closed the sidewalk that the students used to get to the metro station. And so there were hundreds of students every day walking with or against the traffic on Vermont because they didn't provide an alternate route. And our neighborhood council got involved. And within a short period of time, only 2 weeks of having these students, you know, out in the middle of the street, after only 2 weeks, they, the Bureau of Street Services inspector went to the developer and told them that they had to have a traffic control plan, which is what LADOT, in other words, they review those plans. But if the developer doesn't give them the plan, then they don't review it, and there's no plan, and there's no, you know, safe, you know, like there's no safe passage provided. And so, you know, if you have hundreds of students every day walking in the traffic for 2 weeks, you know, that's a problem. And, you know, it's like, if our neighborhood council hadn't gotten involved, you know, maybe they would have continued doing that for like a month or something like that.
Yeah, so I agree. So I think getting local actors activated is going to be much quicker than us, where our turnaround is every 2 months, right?
Right, but the thing is that LADOT, you know, they're already aware that there's a problem. You know, it's like they know that a lot of these traffic control plans are not getting done. And so, you know, and it's not the people who we work with who review those plans. It's like another group.
Correct.
And, you know, to all, you know, everything that I can see, they're not, you know, they're not doing this consistently, and they're not doing it in situations where they really need to be. Like, they don't have any prioritization. And in fact, the Bureau of Street Services inspector, who eventually went out there when the council district called them, that person had told me that everything's fine. You know, they have a permit, just close the sidewalk, don't worry about it, everything's fine. You know, we notified the school district. You know, there's a plan with the school district, but the people at the school didn't know that the sidewalk was closed.
Right. I mean, I think our focus should be on making sure the plans are good plans versus when there aren't plans, we get notified, because we don't have the ability, we're not a fast acting group.
And then we'd have to go out and check and see if it's.
And we're a bunch of, but I think holding LADOT accountable to make sure that there are good plans in place, and when they're not.
But in other words, nobody's doing this now. And it seems like we have a possibility of saying, you know, at least raising the issue.
But I think that's what our
That's
the
what
motion that
motion's
is
gonna do.
working
Okay.
on, right?
Well,
And that's, yeah,
Let's give it a chance. then.
yeah,
Can I be
yeah,
recognized?
yeah,
Thank
of
you very
course.
much, Chair. Was hearing that one hand of the LADOT was not communicating with another hand of the
Sure,
LADOT.
sure.
And that seems to be what this is all very wrapped up in. And those are our taxpayers' dollars that are paying for both of those groups of people. And ultimately, the contractor is being paid with tax dollars. I think we need to create a motion that asks those departments to talk to one another. Why do we as volunteers need to be notified and then and then review plans and checking and going out and checking on the street and seeing whether things are being done? They all have bosses.
Yeah,
They have
absolutely.
the same boss. If you
Right.
go all the way up to Laura Rubio Conejo, they have the same boss. So, so maybe we just need to reiterate. a
Well, I think
request
it's-
to-
I think telling them to talk to each other is a solution. We're wanting outcomes, and so we want to make sure that plans are in place. And if that requires you talking to each other, Well, yeah,
whatever-
we sure as heck
whatever
think you
needs
should
to be
too.
done
Yes, right.
To do that, but
Yeah.
they need to, they need a better process management. We're
Yeah.
asking for improvement in the process management to make sure that.
I absolutely agree
that
with
effective
everything
plans
that
are
you
put in
both are
place.
saying. Yeah. Lionel?
Yeah,
And then
is
we'll
this
go to
something
Glenn.
that we collaborate with the pedestrian advisory committee, or are they doing this separately?
It's still in draft form that Curtis is trying to work with Mehmet's, his city council file, but I think, yes, appropriately pulling in the pedestrian advisory committee would be prudent, as well as getting neighborhood council support for this. Glenn, and then
That was
Karina.
gonna be one of my points or questions, is CD4 still committed to this, so it sounds like they are.
Yeah, it appears to be.
I do think, yeah, pedestrian advisory committee, because we're concerned about streets. And could be that the sidewalk is not available, so they're gonna be in the street.
Yeah.
I was actually interested in Philip's comment about the street service inspectors, because we know from other responsibilities that they have, that they don't have enough staff to do that.
Mhm.
And it got me to thinking about then, well, does DOT even have something comparable to that? Because that would be like really a duplication of efforts if street services, which, I mean, yes, I know they do responsibility in the street and also sidewalks, and whatever. DOT, anyway, the point is that that's the sort of thing that I would want us to ask CD4 to like uncomplicate or straighten that out in terms of the lines of authority. Because, I mean, you could say, well, DOT's got too much to do, but street services can't do what they've been asked to do already. So, but there's gotta be somebody there who, in fact, has that primary responsibility. And I personally don't care if it's city planning department or building and safety, but
Whoever's in charge, please get it done.
Yeah,
Whatever,
exactly.
whatever entity it is that's got the authority, and we don't have to like do a major thing, got the authority, and just make sure that's, hopefully as close as the authority as possible.
Agreed. Karina and then Jennifer.
I've been doing this like construction for like more than 30 years, and everything falls into building safety. They're the ones who approves the plans, approves the, gets a CBO. So whatever has been approved goes through building safety. It starts with planning, and then it goes to building safety. So the only maybe solution is get building safety, because in order to have a transportation plan, because I've seen there are transportation plans that mitigate that, and as part of the approved set of plans and everything. But you have to create that system and everything.
If I
So-
may, from this situation I was talking about, I thought it was building and safety too, because it's the construction project. But, I guess the public right of way is, DPW. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's why
because, like,
building and street services and LADOT.
The only problem is, where are you gonna put all those material that has been distributed on site? Where there's a lot of station, there's a lot of scheduling that comes in construction. Critical path, scheduling, and that's a lot of coordination as far as, especially big projects like multi-residential or mixed use, which we're gonna see a lot more. And I think that's a good thing to talk about it, because you do need to have a plan and try to mitigate, not only for bicycles, but for everything, lighting, security, safety, and everything. That's a whole set of circumstances that every department is trying to figure things out. Like you said, Janice says that not a lot of people in the higher eds don't really talk to each other. Now they're starting to do it, just because I've been showing up to the planning meetings, sort of the process and procedures, And the housing element, the city housing, that's coming right toward us and they're streamlining it.
Yeah.
Which means,
Mhm.
you know, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, what does it, does it make the approval process of getting all those clearances through different departments? Or that have to go through, or does it negate any community input? That's where I'm kind of concerned, where there's a lack of community input. Because it seems like the streamline process doesn't really mention it. I was listening to the meeting with Plan Check NC, where they're talking about site design and using the point system. What does anybody have input on that? Not a lot. That's when they say, we're using a point system. And I've seen that done with leadership, environmental design and all that, you know? And it doesn't really.
So we've got to maintain a wider focus
It's a
of,
broader
yeah,
issue.
okay.
It's a whole. And.
Your point is well taken.
And I think it's good to.
And not getting caught too much into the weeds of who's talking to who, but really, here's a problem, city fix.
Well, and I think, Mert is a good person to connect, because you can start, you know, hey, we need to set guidelines, you know, let's set guidelines.
Great.
You know, so, and try to set requirements, you know, transportation requirements on major corridors. and
Well,
everything.
and I think your example is so compelling. Did you get any pictures of kids walking in the street? Okay, well, this seems like a great story to be able to broadcast and use as an example, that things that we're trying to avoid. Jennifer, did you have a comment? And then I want to move on unless there's any.
I think Carino started to address it. I was gonna ask, well, what departments do we want to include in the motion?
I don't think we
But-
care, I think we should avoid identifying departments, but saying, here's a problem, city, it needs to be fixed so that pedestrians, the most vulnerable, are protected by construction.
Keep it general,
Or
okay.
try to create a motion. Try to
Correct.
create a
We
system.
did,
Right.
we have one.
That's what we're trying to
Maybe I'll
draft.
send it to you. Maybe you should look at it.
So whenever.
Yeah.
Whenever I have time.
Lionel, your
Yeah.
hand went up,
I
but
want to say that, a while back, there's a big push to make, like, for example, elementary schools or public schools, safer, you know, for children, you know, like.
Yeah.
Sure,
children
safe
have been
routes
hit
to
by-
school and-
By motorists or driving too fast and school zone, so. I know, anything that has to do with children, the city kind of, hopefully they will pay more attention to it,
Yeah.
they know proper and, you know.
So we're taking it off
they-
bikes,
at all, and-
but we're the bicycle advisory committee, so this all started with the bikes.
But we can
Yeah.
represent pedestrians as well, so,
Yeah.
And we can represent students because they're also bikers.
of course.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Bottom line is, we see something in our area, we'll report it to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think your neighborhood council, your city council member, and us.
Well, he said the BSS too, right?
Well, that was the city council person that called the BS.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
city council.
As citizens, you're best contacting your elected,
Okay,
because you voted for them or not, and they're most accountable to you.
So
But-
we see something that's not right, we contact
Your local,
the local carbon copy us.
if it's worthy, yeah,
We never know.
never know. Terrific. We did have a nice presentation about the ATP. We're sort of jumping down to yours, but it is listed in the general information.
The presentation was in the minutes, which I believe, our minutes
Yeah.
from May 21st, which I believe are on the
They are.
the website, so that the presentation is on there. Did you want to talk about anything specific in the presentation?
Well, did you want to talk about the updates in terms of the funding?
Oh, the ATP funding, so.
So, sorry, ATP is Caltrans program. Caltrans is the LADO, is the California DOT. And ATP stands for Active Transportation Program. And it's related,
It's a ATSP.
No,
isn't it?
ATP,
Okay, is it similar to the ATSP?
We don't know what it does.
Okay,
There's
because
so
Metro
many.
has the ATSP. It's the Active Transfer to Strategic Plan. I don't know if those.
No,
It
would-
sounds like
different.
one,
No,
this is
different.
this is actual funding program.
It's a
with
federal
millions of
program.
dollars in it for highway oh, no, it's a subset of the highway construction fund.
And so the presentation talked a little bit about how those funds become available and LADOT requesting funds, and we heard a little bit about Northvale Gap trying to seek ATP funds and other stuff. There was concern that the governor was cutting it, and
Yes, Streets for All told us that, the governor's budget proposal was going, so they had extra money last year for, they had like over $1 billion for ATP. And then this year, the governor wanted to cut the budget by like 600 million. And if, I believe that would be like, that would be like.
zeroed it out.
It would be zeroing out the budget, so there wouldn't be any ATP funding cycle for that year. And then, there was somebody in I guess it was Wiener in the Senate was going to, in the state Senate was going to sponsor it there, and then there was someone in the valley that Michael mentioned people should call to get it going in the state assembly. And according to the information I saw today, on the 29th, this assembly released their budget, and the 600 million was back in for ATP.
Okay, so good news. Kevin?
The California Bicycle Coalition has been deeply involved in that, and they have a news release describing exactly what happened.
They hired their lobbyist is incredible. Cal Bikes staffing. So I went to a presentation, really informative. Thank you for Cal Bike tip. So there are some links in the agenda if you want to learn more about the ATP. We're now approaching cycle 7 funds, and those proposals are due the end of June. When I was at the Cal Bike Summit, I ran into a Caltrans person who runs their resource center webpage, and we had a nice conversation, and so I discovered some of those resources there. Moving on from Caltrans ATP. Okay. Metro G line improvements, information discussion only. This was asked to be put on the agenda by Lionel. Did you want to?
Yeah, I'd also like to thank Karina if you could weigh in as well. Metro had a meeting, which was on May 11th, I think, Saturday, at Midnight Civic Center, to discuss both the Sepulveda Transit Corridor and the Metro Orange Line path, which includes a bike path, because they are planning to do some upgrades construction, and a portion of the Orange Line bike path will be affected by this new construction. Part of it, feel free to weigh in, Carino, to correct me, because he's very knowledgeable, speaking of is that the East Valley Light Rail project corridor, and that's connect to the G line along Van Nuys Boulevard. So that might be also part of it. And also, if I'm not mistaken, they want to add some upgrades to improve the G line service. I think in the future they might turn into light rail, and in the process, which is unfortunate that some trees will be removed. And that's one of the concerns that Carino, I, and some other folks have had. Because, the bike path does provide a lot of shade to the trees, right? Tree canopy. And we're concerned about tree removal. And Ron Macias from the Metro Community Relations has been providing updates. I mean, I have been in contact with them, but I'd like to turn it into Karina, you'd like to say something?
I attended the meeting, that Lionel mentioned, both the Sepulveda Transit Corridor and, the G line, improvements, on the G line improvements, originally it was supposed to have, an elevated, I guess, bridge going along, Van Nuys with a cycle track, an elevated cycle track in the beginning, but, since they had the meeting recently, they eliminated the cycle track. And also they kind of shortened, the bridge. I think they started starting from east of Van Nuys, between Van Nuys and, Tyrone, and then it goes over Van Nuys and Vesper. And then it goes down, but you have to go on grade level through, Kester. But once you get to Sepulveda, that's when it's elevated. So there's two bridges, and there's two phases of construction where they're letting where the temporary bike path is gonna go. And basically, it's just along residential streets and everything. Said it would be done in 2027. Before
Before the Olympics.
yeah, before the Olympics, which is, and it's a design build, so it's gonna go quick, everything. So that's sort of, my concern, because there's no accountability. How many trees are gonna be eliminated without any inventory or survey? Because they're, I don't know if you're familiar, all our street trees are inventory, and it's been, but along that path, along the, G line, it's not inventory, so,
Oh,
yeah. So there's no inventory, there's no, there's no design right now.
because it's not city or what,
Well,
what?
design, I don't know if you're.
I understand design build, but it doesn't mean you can run roughshod over.
Well, well, it's much quicker and it's, I mean, it's, you don't see the plans like where, where the elevators, even though you see the renderings, you might have an idea, but not a whole, set of landscape plans or where you're lighting, sort of that's where I think, there's a lot of things that are just gonna pass through most of our community.
So do you feel like this is something that we should, in the future, have a motion to protect particular, or to ensure particular components, tree canopy or what have you? Is that what, would that be in our best interest?
Well, it's not, I wouldn't say, this committee is into protecting trees, but you never know. I mean, if you guys are, interested in having a bike path with like trees or nature around you.
Trees in the valley over
Are
bike paths
really
are
important.
pretty
Well,
kind of essential.
well, it is, because I'll tell you, they'll keep you cool.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll.
So I don't know, you have to argue it, but I think if there's a draft motion to kind of bring to the transportation planning or the planning and bikeways, that would be a good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple people, I mean, we got like 3 councils in our own neighborhood council, so we could throw.
So are the neighborhood councils working on a motion around this at all?
We've discussed it, and I'm doing research, looking at the documents they have with Metro, because you want to make sure that they're covering about protected trees, about tree replacement, whether it's, because I read in the document, it's 2 to 1,
That's typically what I've heard too, right?
Yeah,
Right.
so for native, it's 4 to 1. So, but
Alright.
where are you gonna put that? There's no system, you just say, and who's gonna enforce it?
So Lionel, do you want to try to shepherd that in subcommittee
Okay.
with Carino's?
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah,
surprised that we have the band, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been communicating with Joanne and even Cece, so she's been helping me along as far as, you know, who to contact from Metro and all that.
Okay.
So, we'll communicate and if anybody wants to be CC'd, I'll allow them.
I would pull in Jennifer and Philip.
I thought the people where they were council, I don't know, they were people that were doing trees.
That's Joanne.
No, they, so you're already.
Yeah.
I get her involved.
No, I got her early on and, you know, asked her about that, you know, just because I knew that the construction starts in March.
Oh.
So that's like, you know, right there.
Okay.
Can I have just informational? So the busway currently on the ground, on the surface is really just wide enough for two buses. Right? So how much of the right of way is gonna be taken up by this new structure?
See, I don't know, because if you look at some of the construction, you know, with the blue line, it's much wider than sort of the on grade.
Yeah, I would think so. So that would, to me, again, not having seen the plans,
Yeah,
but I'm wondering is where the cyclist gonna be for these elevated, or maybe the other sections? Are we gonna be riding under the elevated sections, because maybe there's not enough right of way left over?
I think there's enough, bicycle, it's just that it's on the south face of the bypass, so you don't get much sun. That's, you know, that's the issue there, but I don't think it's much. The only thing that the problem along that bike path is the stolen wires.
Oh, lighting,
Lighting, so,
safety. I was
Yeah.
thinking safety.
well, and that's where they said that that's gonna do a solar lighting, you know, for,
Oh,
so that's,
yeah.
you know, that's a lot of,
I mean, this is obviously one of the most important facilities for bicycles in the valley. It's, you know, connectivity from North Hollywood, actually beyond to Chatsworth. So,
it's a central hub for the valley.
Yeah.
and of course, connecting transit, and of course, Van Nuys, you know, besides North Hollywood, but because of what's coming to Van Nuys. But, I mean, I had heard about this in concept, but I think the devil's in the details as it relates to how are cyclists gonna be treated, afterthought. And how's that gonna be looking in terms of, you know, this set right away that they're now building this, you know,
Yeah.
basically two overpasses,
Mhm.
where are we gonna fit into that? So that's, I mean, I'm not diminishing trees, yes, it's great to have trees and shade in the valley, especially in the summer. But I just wanna know how how the bicycle path is gonna fit into this whole.
Well,
Kevin, did you have a?
At the opening of the CETA protected bike place, Janice was there, I don't know if Lionel was there. Metro had a booth. They were explaining all this, answering those questions. And I asked this question about the bike path. My understanding is they don't intend to have bicyclists climb up and over this bridge. They are going to maintain the bike path at Great Hollow.
Oh,
Not gonna go over the bridge.
yeah, I mean, it's like
They'll
having
be
two
with the rail.
paths that, you know, either you're like, it's hardcore cyclists, you know, to,
No, I don't, yeah, that's not my question. Because no, I wouldn't wanna climb up, and I wouldn't wanna do that, personally. I'm just trying to think with an increased taking of the right of way because of the structures. You know, is not gonna leave too much, where is that gonna put us? I mean, I can easily envision that there's this bridge structure up, down, along. And they're not gonna narrow it, they're gonna keep it probably consistent. And I think, what's the bicycle path gonna look like after that happens? It's just gonna be like some stretches where it's like block wall and then this busway and not have all this
well,
landscaping?
that's why I've been asking all these questions, like, if you build these bridge, what's gonna go underneath it? You know, who's gonna use it? How are you gonna use it? You know, all these questions that are started popping up, you know.
Right, and how's it gonna affect visibility between cyclists and other users
And
of
safety,
the
yeah.
road and safety, like, you know, on our end. There's a place where the orange/G line bikeway goes behind a building.
Mhm.
So you can't see the cyclists from the street. And I won't ride that part even in the daytime by myself, because it's just not, it's unsafe around there. I don't want to be back there and get mugged.
Yeah,
And
Well, yeah.
that was, I did.
Yeah, I mean, I propose something like, hey, try to use that area to make it like a, or activate as a commercial area where people could walk and bike, just for those, that area, you know, just to activate some type of, use.
Other use.
Yeah, other use.
Lionel, did you have
I
any
just wanna
wrap
add
up?
very briefly that, yes, Karina's correct. I'm pretty sure I shared the article with you, but you can share with everyone, because, you know, the chair, Joe Linton, in this article, he did say, and his post that I share with you, that it's about this project, or, you know, supposed to be 3 years, I think. So I think that kind of falls in line with the Olympics 2028, 3-year project, the orange line, that's number one. Number two, when I spoke with Mr. Macias from Metro, right? The community relations manager, about the lighting, that's the copper wire that, because they explained to him, and I sent him an email. He did say that they're aware of it and they're working on it. I think, and I also want to, a couple months ago, Councilmember Padilla was in Van Nuys with Cassie Schreiner from the Van Nuys Neighborhood Council, and Mayor Karen Bass was there, and other, local officials, the mayor's team, that, they're doing a pilot program on solar, lighting.
Street lights.
Yes, thank you, and that they're doing a pilot program, so they might, like Karina said, they might expand on that. Because we had a Zoom meeting with, Baki, the Commissioner for Public Works, and Jerry Rivera about copper wire. So they're aware about the, lighting issue, because they explained to them, when I biked there one time, after a meeting, it was completely dark, and
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you could tell it's obviously so far.
You have people hanging around there like
Yeah.
all days of the night.
Yeah,
Yo.
I
and,
have coworkers that
and-
ride that on a daily basis.
and number three, some positive news at along the Orange Line, Orange Line, and Conejo Park Station, there are new bike lockers for daily use. Fellow bicyclist, I forgot his name, I met him at the, Complete Streets at Reseda. He's an avid Twitter user. He's from the West Valley, but he posted a picture that there's a new bike lockers on Conejo Station, which looks nice.
Good.
I don't know how to use it. I don't know if you need a key or you could, there's a pad, I don't know, but just FYI, maybe for Janice, that's District 2, I think. But yes, and also.
So let's, I want to wrap up.
Yes,
So-
and, correct, Joanna's as the chair of the CPAC committee, she's aware of it, but I think that's all, thank you.
Go ahead.
Really quick. I was aware of the session on that Saturday at something else. I think that was the in-person, but I think they had a virtual one. And if anyone sees that it was recorded, if you could maybe circulate the link. to
The G
recording.
line,
Yeah.
yeah, because I was trying to listen to the plan check and see it was overlapping, you know, and something happened to my phone where I had to stop the Zoom to listen to the plan check and see.
So anyway, if anyone
Yeah.
finds the recording, that'd be helpful. I didn't even know, one was in person, one was recorded. Anyway, the other thing is just, it's not this project, but it is, I thought they were gonna be happening at the same time, or actually in advance, and that is part of the Measure M funding that funded this project,
Oh,
also.
yeah.
Also included putting railroad gate type installation.
They're still doing that.
Okay, is that on the same time frame?
I think so, yeah, because they've shown the cross guard cards on major, streets, even, yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
And I saw a head nod in the back too. Great. Okay, moving down. Thanks for the G line. And I'll forward any information I get either that I've gotten from Lionel to the board. And if you discover more, please feel free to send it to the full board. I did resend out the BAC strategic plan invitation to fill out the Google form. Who's done it and wants to say how long it takes? How long does it take?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay, so it's not horrible. There's a lot of questions.
We know all the answers.
So part of it, if you can find the time to fill out those forms, it will give me and us a greater sense of our connections, needs, and goals as a committee. So take a look at it. If you don't do Google Forms, I do have the option of printing it and sending it to you. So let me know if that's what you desire as well. So there is under staffing needs and opportunities 5F.
It does. Sounds.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Were you?
Well, it depends on how
Yeah,
you make that.
you're right.
Yeah, if you're doing it thoughtfully, it might.
Which I thought I did, except for one answer. but-
Yeah, he said, listen to Bike Talk. There is a point of clarification that we want to do, discussion possible motion regarding all subcommittee meetings are open to all. An alternate may act on behalf of a standing committee member in their absence unless they are also assigned member of that particular committee, and that's to preserve the one person, one vote concept. Glenn thought this would be important to articulate and clarify. Glenn, do you want to make this motion?
To get it done just for discussion, I'll make it, I mean, it's not exactly what I articulated, but I'll make. a
Okay,
motion
so
just to.
do you want to articulate?
I did want to make, I'll make the motion, see if we get a second.
Okay. Anybody want to second the motion?
Basically what's on the agenda.
Great. Any clarifying?
So, yeah, just my concern was when this originally came up, there was. The issue, and I think this addresses my concern, which was. If an alternate was a member of a committee and their primary person is also a member, how would that work as far as the?
Well, quorum and.
Yeah, well, we can, so that's another issue about having not a alternate BAC member, but having alternates on the committee. So it doesn't affect quorum,
Mhm.
they can bring it, and they can actually help make quorum. But yeah, I didn't, so I think this wording here is so that there's not like, there's not 2 votes, you get 1 vote, and if you're, I guess whatever the difference is, I think this is better, so.
Okay,
Discussion.
yes.
Okay, so in our subcommittee, Taylor and Michael Schneider are both on the committee. You know, you're both listed on the committee. And if so in other words, if one of you is not there, then we need more people to make our, in other words, if there's 6 people on the committee and we only have, if two people, well, actually Michael was there that particular day, but he was on the phone, so we couldn't count him toward our quorum. And, so in other words, we had 2 people missing from the same council district. And so we couldn't make our quorum. And so in that case, I think the question was whether one of you was the alternate for the other one on the subcommittee versus, both of you being on the committee because you're both, as down as members. And so if this motion passed, would that mean that one of them would be the alternate for the other and they wouldn't both be on the committee?
No, I think if the motion passed, we would both be on the committee, because it's one person, one vote. And is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Yes,
That's my understanding
correct.
too. Yeah.
And part of what we need to do as subcommittee chairs is make sure our subcommittees are filled with people who want to be on them, right? So we'll clean that up too.
But we did that at the last meeting. That was when we decided who was on the subcommittee, and I put down all the people that we were told would be on the subcommittee. So it seems like if we are going to, you know,
So that's just a dilemma. If you have Michael and Taylor, they can't help out each other if they're both assigned to your committee.
right, so in other words, if you were, one of you was the member and one was the alternate, then either one of you could show up, but if you're
But-
both on it.
But
then
this
both-
motion changes that.
They could
No,
both be
not for the
present
two of
and
you.
voting.
Not for the
but
two.
one can't.
You're a unique circumstance. But
So, first of all, I think if just Michael was on the committee.
Right.
And Michael couldn't make the meeting, but you could,
But
then
I
this
could go.
would be, that we've agreed,
Right.
then that you could.
You could be
take the
his
place for
alternate.
Michael, and you'd help make quorum.
Right.
I do want to say, and I think one of the reasons I originally reacted the way I did when this first came up was in ideal world, which who knows how long it's gonna take for us to get there. But in an ideal world, you know, we have 19 BAC members and 19 alternates, that's 38 people. And we can't accommodate all of the 38 people, even just one per committee, based on the limitations. But for right now, I mean, that's a great problem to have down the road.
Right.
But for right now, I think it's okay. We may have to revisit that when we have more members.
good. Any other board discussion, comments?
Could I just
Clarifications?
clarify?
Yep,
So what I'm understanding is that Michael will be the name on our roster for our subcommittee.
And if he
How,
can-
and if he can't come, then you can, but your name's not on it.
well, Taylor
Right? Is
can,
that
no,
right?
no,
Okay,
no. Taylor and Michael can both choose to be on the subcommittee.
But then we both have to show up.
And then, but yeah, if you're a part of the subcommittee, then you have to show up, right? If Taylor is not, if he removes himself from the subcommittee, then he can act as Michael's alternate.
alternate, yeah, I get that part.
But
I understand.
anyone can join any subcommittee
Okay,
up to the limit.
but then it's,
Let me give you another example. Let's say Karen or I, being members of the committee, we weren't there. If we had a mayoral alternate appointed to this body, then the mayoral alternate could attend the meeting in our place. in
Oh.
either
Correct.
Places,
hmm,
which would help towards quorum because we weren't there, right?
Correct.
Now, that's because we have so few alternates, it's not that many at this point in time, but, hopefully there'll be more.
well, can you work on getting an alternate?
Yes, that's besides this conversation, though.
I'm getting really confused.
But if
though.
I did have an alternate, they could also be a member of the committee.
Right.
Correct.
There wouldn't be any option to stand.
Correct.
Right, and I don't think, that's a whole nother issue, is I think because unlike the 15 council manager appointees, the mayoral appointees, if the mayor's office appointed alternates, it's probably not gonna be, you have an alternate, I have an alternate, Rob
It'd
has
be
an
a pool
alternate.
of
Yeah, it's a
alternates
pool of
for the
alternates,
members.
right?
Right.
And, but we'll
Hmm.
cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, nothing's happened there.
We haven't pursued that at all.
No,
Okay, so all those in favor, sorry?
Do I have it all?
you need to get one.
No.
You gotta get one.
I tried to break it. It's about-
All right, so let's, further discussion about this motion. So all those in favor of the motion as presented, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Oh, did you vote?
I'm just confused.
Raise your hand, will you? Thank you.
See,
Force it's your birthday.
If it's your birthday, raise your hand. Advocacy and Education Subcommittee,
Yeah.
there was a report put out by the Bike League Dangerous by Design. There is a webinar on June 6th. This is Smart Growth America, talking about our streets and how dangerous they are. We have taught in the Outreach Advocacy and Education Subcommittee, we've talked about doing outreach. And we've reached out to DOT saying, hey, when you table at Ciclavia, we'd like to join you and sit at your table and be a part of the action. And I heard from Elliot that, I'm sorry, we're not doing outreach and the South LA June 23rd. So we will look at if there are other partners who are out and about that we might be able to join their table to do some basic outreach. Abraham has developed some clever, catchy ideas about using iconic buildings in each of the kind of city council district as kind of souvenir kinds of stuff. So with some little catchphrases. Taylor?
I was just gonna say, I think, Bike Talk is gonna do some outreach there with KPFK.
Oh.
And I wonder if you could join that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be, I don't think KPFK would care. And it might make it more of a festive,
Great.
Table.
Great. So we're gonna shop around looking for partners and we'll pick the most attractive one.
I would suggest neighborhood councils.
Yeah.
Because they usually have groups.
Yeah, that's great too. Thank you. So we're hoping to be at the South LA Western Avenue and then meet the Hollywoods to kind of test this concept and if we have outreach materials, we'll at least have some printed materials with QR codes that will direct people to hopefully something interesting. League of Cycling, American League of Cyclists is having another advocate workshop. I attended it in DC and I thought it was very helpful. If you're at all interested, it's happening July 24th through the 26th in Philadelphia and it costs $100. That's the registration fee. Week Without Driving is Monday, September 30th, and World Bicycle Day was yesterday.
Yeah.
And Biking in LA did a really lovely commentary about how the city of LA did zero.
Yeah, Ted Rogers.
But Metro did something in recognition, so. And there is a youth bike summit coming up June 14th through 16th, and I think it's their like 10th youth summit. And we are continuing to try to make some updates to our website. Planning and Bikeways Engineering. Philip and Jennifer.
Okay, well, we already discussed,
Almost everything, huh?
Yeah.
well, we discussed the temporary closures due to construction. And we discussed the ATP funding, and those were the main things that I thought would be of interest to the people here. There was a lot of discussion about Fourth and New Hampshire and Fourth and Norton. I don't know, Karen, if you want to say anything about that.
Well, Karen, sorry.
About,
Fourth and New Hampshire and Fourth and Norton.
just that they told us that, and this was a surprise to me, that the planned roundabout for Fourth and Norton is off the table. And the one at New Hampshire has been designed, but it's.
Caltrans was playing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked,
Caltrans has been with it.
I asked,
Oh, the deal with Caltrans on that was that Caltrans was saying it was outside of the scope. And
Right.
and I guess LADOT and was it Metro were saying that it was within the scope. I have the minutes here, I can look it up.
It didn't make any sense, but it's hard to remember the exact.
Right, but they did say that the one in Norton was never designed, whereas the one at Fourth and New Hampshire was designed.
Yeah.
And it was, they considered it was always part of the project, but for some reason Caltrans was thinking that it wasn't. On bike lane removals, Matt Gertz said he would bring this back to their team to see if there should be a more, if there's a more formal process with that they could then document. And Jennifer was going to invite Jessica Meany to our LABAC meeting when they can find a mutually convenient.
She's from the Investing in Place group. So this talks about the capital improvement projects, and that's what Investing in Place is, their kind of sole mission is. We need to invest in our capital, our infrastructure, and so this is, so to have her come speak about that would be very compelling.
Right, and that way, if we have this capital infrastructure plan, then all these different departments won't be doing things and then having to undo them because they didn't plan ahead.
Yeah.
And so I think that's most of what we covered, but I can explain in a few words.
And the presentations that were given are on the webpage under planning and bikeways engineering.
Yeah, we had asked Caltrans to come and do a presentation on the ATP program, and that's what the slides are that are connected. You attach them to the minutes.
Connor, who isn't on the call anymore, said, just an aside for clarification, Metro's ATSP is not a funding source, but it does determine which projects are eligible for the Metro Active Transportation Funds. So they're a bit of an oversight.
So it's not like a standards group or something like that.
I'm not sure what ATSP stands. The strategic plan, right? So does the projects fit with their strategic plan? I think they give them a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Sorry, Rob, what's the woman's name who does Investing in Place?
Jessica
Meany, MEANEY. Investing in Place.
This
Keep
is for a
on.
future Bike Talk interview.
Yeah, MEA.
Already.
Hey,
What I had.
It's okay.
it's good.
You probably see her when she's all metro meeting.
Oh, she is, okay.
Transportation, she holds her own. She's. all
She's
over.
strong, very
She
strong.
doesn't name her the council, yeah, she's been doing it for a long time.
Ah, okay, good.
Yeah, so,
Good.
I've heard the name.
yeah, she's always like, she's Metro's having.
Yeah, you'll recognize.
Yeah.
Once you.
But then
Got hair.
red curly hair and
Did she
black
cut it?
and you
She
can't-
had big hair for a while.
All right,
She's
Jennifer, did you want to?
She's doing focus groups, she's doing focus groups and, yeah.
Thanks, Mike. Jennifer, anything that you wanted to add?
No,
Okay. We are going to have an offline meeting to review city council files that we're monitoring and assigning them to each of the subcommittees so that we're clear about that, so that we can stay on top of them. So we'll be doing that today to figure out when we're going to meet.
okay.
Eli's not here. Anybody hear anything about Bike LA?
They still exist?
Yeah.
What?
Does it still exist?
I hope.
They still take my monthly donation.
You know what? My credit card's changed and I haven't gotten a, hey,
Kidding? It's a good idea.
hey, well, what happened to your monthly donation? So as soon as they,
So they still exist.
They do, they were at the last, there was a last cycloneal.
Yeah.
Maybe I was
Yeah.
and then Streets for All, Michael's not here. Anybody want to report on Streets for All?
He had a nice op-ed in the paper.
About the Governor Newsom's, yeah.
And he
funds.
had another thing coming from Pasadena down to Long Beach. A
New
bus,
project, yeah.
a bus and a bike.
Hill to Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hill to Sea, right.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Great.
He gave a report at our May 21st meeting, so you can check on our minutes. If you want to see what he told us then.
He did do some legislation updates. Yeah. Okay, any reports that people didn't get to give during their introductions? We'll go once around. Karen?
I just wanted to mention, learned about History Streets for All, that Caltrans is taking applications for the
Technical Advisory Committee.
California Walk and Bike Technical Advisory Committee. And so if anyone's interested in.
Has too much free
spreading the
time.
word, maybe you don't want to do it in addition to this, but they meet 4 times a year. Application deadline is June 30th.
Is this for local district 7 of the state?
I don't think it's limited. It says Caltrans is seeking to fill open seats.
Oh, I think it's,
Because there is a district 7 committee of that sort. I think 4 times a year.
Expand the link to see if it says more specifically. If it doesn't, in the announcement. And you can see a list of who's serving on it now already.
you want to send it to the full group?
Yeah, I'll forward it to the group now.
Or send it to me and I'll send it out. to
Okay.
the rest. Taylor?
Willoughby, Kevin might be able to speak to this more than I, but, Willoughby is moving forward, but there continues to be pushback, and it's really crazy. It's frustrating and, sort of upsetting when people can, have meetings and complain about parking for, infrastructure program that needs to go in. You know anything more about that? I know you were at that last meeting in the park.
At a reasonable summer.
So I don't know what we can do as the LABAC, but.
The controversy involves part of a street with a lot of angled parking on both sides in order to install protected bike lanes. The angled parking has to be converted to parallel on one side of the street. So that means you lose about half parking places. That section of that street's entirely within West Hollywood. And so I don't think the BAC has purview for the part that's causing the uproar. The parts on Willoughby are not really very controversial, which West Hollywood shares with LA.
Aubrey?
Good.
Reno?
I don't know.
You only get 1 minute now, though.
Okay, they made improvements on, a medium on Sepulveda, which is great. They're gonna have trees, they're gonna have like, aquifer, let all the storm runoff, so that's a good thing. They're, making improvements in Van Nuys, which is like good.
Okay.
The Apple Ranch on the Robertson and Venice.
Mhm.
Tremendous. Goes from Robertson to Helms Bakery, original. It goes from Washington to Venice. And it's dropped off from everybody's side of the view. It's just trucks in, trucks out, and it's all wrapped.
Do you know what's happening?
Hmm?
Do you know what's being developed?
No.
Oh.
I was at Apple, in the Apple development.
Oh, Apple Company,
You mean?
not the fruit.
This app.
Yeah, they're taking over.
Ah.
All the.
Okay.
Oh, that.
When you said Apple development, I was thinking of eating time.
They have an Apple. It's as big as the ranch.
That would be nice to have some.
Are they interfering with bike lanes?
Okay.
Are they interfering with bike lanes? See? Dang.
Okay, well, get your committee to do their work.
Huh?
Kevin, anything for the good of the order? Mike? Lionel?
Yeah, I joined, on Sunday, attended the Walk Bike program on bicyclist group. Just wanna make sure everyone gets the information. They're planning on the 20th anniversary on August of this year. And the Chandler Bike Path, which is, both North Hollywood, City of LA and Burbank. And, also, I almost forgot, but before I forget, Councilmember Padilla's office, they're doing a survey, which I took, because they wanna wanna get public's input on Lancashire between Strathern and Satapoy. And there is a bike lane, it's not a protected bike lane, by the way. I hope they will consider it in the future, and I will reach out to the DS office about that. I think, they should do more outreach, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of the survey. Because a lot of people do cross the street on Lancashire between Strathern and Satapoy, which is Council District 6. And a lot of motorists do drive pretty fast, and when I took this ride, I did mention that. It's a multiple choice. And I did reach out to Rafael Gonzalez, who's the field deputy, for District 6, about working with neighborhood council on community, because, also the Department of Sanitation, they want to do some improvements like water capture, but I'm hoping that they will switch the bike lane to car protected, instead of having bicycles being between parked vehicles and more driving more, which I don't feel safe. I still do it, but hoping that they plan on redesigning that
Kind
section.
of like, Reseda has it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Glenn?
Two things, at our last meeting, we had someone from the Equine Advisory Committee.
Yeah.
Attending the meeting.
Yeah.
Don't know how many people she reached out to.
She's on vacation.
I'm actually thinking more in terms of just the communication, which is good. Even though we don't have any control over, everyone who rides bicycle does not report to us. Or rides inappropriately. Anyway, they do have new leadership. They normally are meeting the fourth Monday, but because of Memorial Day, they talked about it last night. And so their next meeting is July 22nd, so that'd be the fourth Monday. So I guess if you just get the agenda, we can watch and see if there's any bicycle related things, but I'm sure that given the new leadership, they'll be in touch with us. The second thing, I guess it's only a minute. The second thing, the city budget just approved, going through its final dotting the i's, crossing the t's. There were over 200 report backs initiated from Budget Finance Committee, and 29 different new motions that came out of that process. And then I don't even know how many of actual motions that amended the budget. How many of those maybe of things of interest, I don't know, but hopefully someone, I looked through some of the stuff, but I'm hoping anyone in this room or through Michael Schneider or somebody.
Jacob Wasserman.
Great. Anyway, hopefully we're not missing anything, but just know that there's several different buckets there of where things can pop up that were initiated both in committee at full council. Report back, some of these will take on a life of their own. And if we come across any of them, and not all of them are searchable, I found, because, you don't get them. By searchable, I mean, you get an email saying, hey, this is. Okay.
Good, thank you. Janice?
Just to dovetail a little bit on what Lionel and Corina were speaking about earlier, one of the last times I talked to Jeff Jacoberger, just casually, we happened to see each other. I talked to him about when we create these assets, and I was specifically referring to bike assets, and this was in reference to an ongoing discussion that we've had about Metro G line and various responsibilities, whether it's city, metro, or whatever, that we need to take a holistic approach when we develop these things so that they can be maintained in a holistic way, taking care of safety issues, whether that's visibility, lighting, maintenance. We had an issue where we lost a cyclist because of a lack of visibility, partly because of lack of maintenance along that corridor. So anyway.
Thank you. Birthday girl?
I'm good.
I don't have one.
Oh,
Yeah, Hollywood Boulevard safety project. correct me if I'm wrong, Robin and Jennifer, because you were both there, but it seemed like LADOT was telling us that most of the improvements on Hollywood Boulevard are going to be completed by August 18th in time for the cyclovia.
Oh,
Was that your understanding?
I didn't pick that up.
Okay, and
I
then
do
they,
remember them saying something to that effect. I think it was parts of it would be targeted for that deadline.
right, the part that was different was the Sunset Hillhurst Hollywood Virgil intersection. And there, in order to do the protected bike lanes, they had to change the pedestrian crossings and the protected left turn signals and restrict Sunset Drive to be right turn in and right turn out only. And that part of the project, they didn't have a timeline, but it seemed like they were saying the rest of the project they did. But you know, it's like it didn't register to me at that time that they were actually gonna plan to do everything, you know, that they're doing on Hollywood Boulevard in that amount of time. But you know, just reading over my notes, it seems like that's what they were saying, you know, which would be amazing if they were able to do all of that.
I mean, I think they probably want to be able to celebrate some of the changes for the cyclovia and say, and there's more coming, right? So that they at least put a shovel in the ground.
It sounded like more than a.
Right. That's it.
So there was that, and then one other just quick thing I wanted to mention was in terms of HLA implementation. And that was where Michael Schneider was saying that there was one big holdup, and that is in the public, is it? Oh, let me look at my notes again. Okay, so it was the Public Works Committee. John Lee hasn't scheduled the committee process, and before, you know, until that committee
Meets.
yeah, that committee meets, HLA, you know, they can't move forward with implementation. And he was saying that if, you know, if nothing happens, they might have to go to court. But the possible resolution was to, for those who are in John Lee's district, to contact his office and ask him to you know, schedule a hearing in the committee.
Okay.
I would be happy to contact his office.
Oh, great.
I was,
Let me give you the minutes so you'll know exactly what it said.
I was in downtown LA, I went to the LA Theater Center for a show, American Mariachi, and parking in the parking lot. And as we were walking through the parking lot, I saw a mini street cleaner that Downtown Alliance had bought for the bike lanes. I'm like, we need these all over the city, but I was like, they do exist. So I put my eyes on it. It's very exciting.
The city of West Hollywood is discussing putting parking protected bike lanes on a couple of streets. And they've identified a vendor of these many street cleaners for that purpose.
Good for them to be
Setting.
figuring that out. That's right. That's why we like all of our little cities around the city of LA, because you can get things done so much and be role models for the big Goliath in the room. Thank you all. We are adjourned unless there
wait.
Yep.
Item 12.
Item 12, yes, sorry, adjournment in recognition of heroes
Yeah, I got
and
one.
in memory of those who were killed. So, Janice, did you want to?
So I know that odd enough that's not normally attend. I don't know if he's on Zoom today. But in Council District 9 on April 24th, a 46-year-old gentleman named Jose David Monsalve Rojas was hit in the central Alameda neighborhood by a vehicle and killed. And it was a police pursuit.
Oh.
Yes, and he was killed by the perpetrator.
Oh.
Whose car flipped over. It's horrible.
Yeah,
But
I remember.
anyway,
Yeah.
because of.
Can you send me the link?
I will.
Great.
Because of a stolen
And-
electronic device.
and-
And so, this just further would be on LAPD engagement
Yep.
with our group, and
Yep.
we need to understand that people who are on bikes or pedestrians need to be protected.
I did read that. Jennifer?
Yes, so you requested a little paragraph about my hero who died. So it's a combo. Jesse Simon. I got his wife, great friend of mine from Metro to write this up. So in addition, Jesse Simon, in addition to his transportation planning, survey research, and spatial analysis roles, Jesse was the earliest bicycling advocate at RTD. That's Regional Transit, Rapid Transit. Thank you. And Metro starting in 1983. Yeah. And I knew him there when I was working at Metro, so we used to talk all the time. Anyway, Jesse had a lifelong affinity for long distance bicycle touring, including his honeymoon. She had to add that. And
She was there.
yeah, she rode every day to work too. They both rode every day to work to Metro, all during that time, way before people were doing this. And Jesse had a lifelong, oh wait, sorry, I can't even read this. Okay, was an inveterate explorer of Los Angeles by bike and commuted to work daily from Mount Washington to his job in downtown LA. That's at Taj Mahal. His career path in research led him to transportation research at RTD Metro, where he married his transit career with his bicycling advocacy. As a long-time commuter, he had a vision for how transit and bicycling could be better integrated. This is since 1983. I should do bike talk with this, huh? Yeah, because he was amazing.
Okay, keep reading.
All right. Okay, I can't read.
Turn it sideways.
It won't go side. Oh. Thank you. Oh. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, so as a longtime bike commuter, he had a vision for how transit and bicycling could be better integrated. Initially, he worked on evaluating bike locker designs, which is now happening, and placements in the early days of Metro before bike lockers were a thing, but the advocacy community was starting to show interest. The earliest lockers were rudimentary compared to the more recent designs. He also developed push for many of the early policies regarding bikes on trains, based on research from other major cities around the world, as well as testing and survey data here in LA. Most humorously memorable was a many months long period where he spent weekends visiting special bike shops that had early versions of folding bikes. I mean, this is way back, right? Way before we were doing, anyway, that might be able to be transported on buses. Yeah, well, they never did that. Well, maybe they do. Do you ever transport? Okay. Anyway, this was well before bike racks on buses. So this is before the racks.
You want me to read?
Yeah.
To accomplish this, not only did he commit many weekends, travel, whatever. Okay. To accomplish this, not only did he commit many weekends to traveling all over SoCal to bike shops with his kids, but bike shops started bringing him example bikes to his RTD office for testing and measuring. Different bus types were deployed so the folded bikes could be taken on and off the bus to see if they would fit. It became so entertaining that transit planning staff started riding them around the halls at work, much to everyone's amusement. These were the early steps to today's active transportation group, and it was his initiative to work on these ideas and gain support from top management that got the ball rolling for integration of bikes with transit in LA. Thank you.
And he was killed in
Jesse Simon.
Yeah, he was killed in Arizona. You know, I think everybody knew the story. Yeah. Yeah, he went on a trip without his wife. I don't know why, cause I haven't asked her why yet, cause they always travel together. And they were in Arizona, this guy with the trailer, you know, big mirrors, was tooling down the highway, and he's on the shoulder. And the mirror got him, just boom, gone. And luckily, what my friend told me is there was a car coming the other direction, so the guy stopped and he reported it. Otherwise, he may not, if there hadn't been a car,
We wouldn't find the person who's.
they may never have found the person.
Thank
He
you
was
for,
in there.
for both of those,
Yeah.
and I'm glad we've added heroes to our
Yeah.
list of those who
Yeah.
passed.
Nice to have him on.
One more?
Yeah,
Yeah, a minute.
Bill Walton,
Oh, yeah,
the big mustache,
Yeah.
the big redhead, UCLA legend.
Yeah.
You know, so.
most appropriate. Yeah, terrific.
Big bike.
Abraham, did you have anything? I didn't call on you earlier.
You're okay. No, nothing from me at the moment.
All
I
right.
hope you enjoyed your evening.
To the person who got the legislature to do the 600 million back then.
Okay, here's me.
Thank you all. We are adjourned.
But you have next meeting is.
Oh, yeah, wait, this is a mistake. This is a mistake.
No,
Okay, there are a couple of mistakes here for the next proposed general meeting is August 14. And then the advocacy and education is July 2nd.
This, yeah, yeah, I don't know how that got.
Okay, and then planning and bikeways is July 16.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Basic survey.
Yeah.
You want me to forward it to you or?
Yeah, sure, forward to me.
We're on July 6th.